for a smart and intelligent person to come up on stage as a volunteer. Who would like to come? Anybody? Don't worry, it's not going to be that difficult. Okay, someone who's not so smart and intelligent. I'm not going to pick anyone. The first person who comes on stage gets to be the volunteer. Yeah, go for it. Can we give him a big round of applause, please? Hi, what's your name? Can we all say hi, Vineet? Vineet, you've just won a reward of 2,000 rupees and a copy of my book, Job Escape Plan. And that's it, you don't have to do anything else. Thank you. He's shocked. Thanks, Vineet. I just wanted to demonstrate general human psychology. When I asked for a volunteer, what was going on in your mind? Maybe some of you thought, she's asking for somebody really smart. That's not me. Or you must have thought, what if she asks a difficult question? And I don't want to make a fool of myself in front of so many people. Or you must have thought, is it really worth it to get up from my chair and walk up all the way to the stage, right? But let me ask you this question. Have you ever missed a great opportunity in your life because you thought that you don't deserve it, like what you just saw? Or have you ever thought that I should not take action because I'm not good enough? It could be starting a business that you always wanted to start, or writing a book on a topic that you're really passionate about, or maybe taking up that new assignment which you know is really good for you, but your mind says, hey, you're not an expert in that. Most of us suffer from this condition called Imposter Syndrome, which prevents us from taking action to take our life to the next level. A person with Imposter Syndrome actually has all the skills needed to execute an idea, but their mind will play tricks and stop them from executing the idea. The little voice in the mind would say, hey, you're not having the experience, you're not good enough, there are so many other people who are better than you, you're not qualified enough, you're not an expert. And as a result, this person procrastinates his or her ideas, keeps postponing their success, and keeps waiting to become an expert one day. Imposter syndrome is not this rare disease that affects 1 in a million. It's in fact a very common psychological condition that we all suffer from on a day-to-day basis, you and I. When I was invited as a speaker on this prestigious platform, I was asking myself, why did they invite me? I could think of 3 reasons. 1, I'm the author of this book called Job Escape Plan, and usually authors are considered to be intelligent. Secondly, I'm an entrepreneur, but I stand out from other entrepreneurs because I run my business from home while raising my 2 children. And 3, I'm a speaker. I speak at colleges, conferences, corporates. So maybe the organizers here saw some of my videos and they liked them. But none of these 3 things happened to me easily. I too went through a lot of self-doubt before becoming an author, entrepreneur, and speaker. But luckily, I have a very supportive husband. And he also happens to be a relationship counselor. And he would always tell me, Jyotsna, all of us are born with infinite potential. But the key to unlock the potential is only within us. And he helped me to overcome my imposter syndrome. And only when I decided to come out of my closet, people started looking up to me as a thought leader, as an authority in my industry. Today, when I look back at my life, I realize that all the life-changing events in life that happened to me happened only after I decided to just do it without waiting to become an expert. Years ago, I used to work as an employee in a retail company where I was not getting along with my new boss. I was also not using my skills to the fullest, and I felt that I was not learning anything new in the job. So one fine day, I decided to just quit my job without thinking too much, and soon after that, I started my first business, which was a staff recruitment agency. I did not have my MBA in HR, nor did I work in a human resources department, but I had the limited experience of interviewing candidates and recruiting my team members for my retail stores. That gave me the confidence to start my own agency. With time, of course, I got better at shortlisting profiles and interviewing candidates, But I'm so glad that I did not wait to become better to start my company. I'm sure all of you would have heard that entrepreneurship is like jumping off a plane and then building your parachute along the way. That was so true in my case. A few years later, people started noticing that I had managed to successfully quit my job and I was doing my own thing. So people would come up to me, ask for a meeting so that they also can learn how they can quit their uninspiring jobs. That inspired me to write a book on this subject because instead of teaching people one-on-one, I thought that I will be able to share my journey with so many more people through a book. But before writing my first book, a lot of self-defeating questions came to my mind. I told myself, Jyotsna, who is going to read your book? Anyway, nobody knows you. There are so many amazing books on entrepreneurship. Will people buy Steve Jobs' book or your book? These kind of thoughts limited me and stopped me from writing my book. But I made a decision. I decided that I'm not going to compare myself with all the other successful authors out there. It was more important for me to help those people who needed my help, to help those moms who wanted to learn from me how to start a home-based business. So I thought that it will be totally worth it, even if just 100 people read my book. But today I feel so fulfilled because my book went on to become an international #1 bestseller inside Amazon, and so far 11,000 people have read my book. Thank you. It was also listed as one of the top 10 Start Your Business books of 2015 by Inc.com. If I had waited to become a super successful entrepreneur before writing my book, I would have missed the opportunity of helping those 11,000 readers who have so far been inspired by my book. When I talk to aspiring authors now, I see that most of them go through the same self-doubt which I had. And this is what I tell them. What is stopping you from writing your book? If you think that there are plenty of books in your genre, it's actually a good thing because it means that there is a lot of demand for that subject. As an author, what we need to do is to make sure that our book is different from all the other books out there. And how do you do that? If you authentically share your story, your message, or knowledge in your book, the book will automatically be different because your life experiences are unique to you. Right now, I'm on a mission to help 5,000 aspiring authors to become published authors by the year 2020 because I strongly believe that each and every one of us should write at least one book in our lifetime and share it with the world. A book is like a legacy that we leave behind because the people who will read your book will benefit from it long after you're gone. Some of you sitting here may have becoming an author as one of your bucket list items. Or maybe you just want to take a break from your work and start that passion project. But your self-limiting belief that you're not good enough, you're not an expert, is stopping you from taking the action. So how do you overcome this imposter syndrome? Let me share with you my ABCD approach, which I used to overcome this challenge. A. A stands for accepting that you don't have to be number one. The need to be number one in whatever we do actually stops our growth. You may think today that in your industry, there are so many people who are better than you, and you need to gain maybe 5 more years of experience to start something. But even 5 years later, there are still going to be people who are ahead of you. So there is no point in comparing your life with others. It is totally meaningless to compare your first chapter with somebody else's 10th chapter. Now let's assume that you actually put in a lot of effort to become really the best. But the words the best or number one are very subjective. For example, this year you may win the Best Actor award, but next year that award will go to somebody else. That does not mean that your acting skills have become poor. It does not mean that you should not try your luck in Hollywood movies. Right? So my request is, please accept the fact of life that you don't have to be number one to succeed. You don't have to reach a certain level to start what you want to. B. The B in the ABCD approach is believe that you're qualified. You don't need a certification or a stamp of approval from anyone to start what you want to start. Did Mother Teresa get her master's degree in social work to qualify herself to serve others? No. Likewise, to do most things these days, you don't need a formal degree. In the past, if you want to teach something to somebody, you need to qualify yourself as a teacher to work in a school or a college. But today, thanks to technology, it has become so easy to share your knowledge with the world. If you've achieved any result in any part of your life. Maybe you've lost 20 kgs of weight, or you grow vegetables in your terrace garden, or you know how to develop a mobile app. You don't need to be certified by any university. You can start your own online classroom and teach what you know, and students from across the world will sign up to learn from you. If you're not too tech savvy to create your online course, that's all right. You can probably conduct live workshops, and people in your neighborhood who are interested in that subject will want to come and learn from you. So please don't wait till you get your PhD. The C stands for challenge the society. Society loves mediocrity. Society will push you to be mediocre, to be one among the crowd. By society, I mean your friends, family, well-wishers, and haters. Society does not want you to stand out. Why? Because society comprises of two kinds of people. Those who care for you and those who don't. The people who care for you actually want you to be safe. They don't want you to try anything new and risk your life. They don't want you to come out of your comfort zone. And the people who don't care for you, they don't want to see you succeed. They don't want you to play a bigger game. They don't want you to become famous. So the minute you go and tell people that you're going to start something new, you are going to hear a lot of criticism. People are going to jump at the opportunity of telling you what will not work. But if you listen to the naysayers, you're never going to achieve your bigger dream. There are only two things that the society will encourage you to do, even without experience. One is getting married, and the other is having children. Nobody will ever come and tell you, hey man, why are you getting married? Why don't you be in a live-in relationship for 2-3 years? Get really good at it, the relationship, and then get married. Or, what's the hurry to have children? Why don't you babysit your neighbor's children, get a degree in parenting, and then have your own kids? Nobody will ever tell that to you. But most of us listen to the society, and people end up getting married or having kids without actually being prepared for it. Therefore, the rule of the thumb doesn't always have to bring you a thumbs up. You don't necessarily have to follow the rules of the society to become successful. The D in the ABCD approach is deliver your service. Instead of looking at people who are ahead of you, if you look at the people who are a few steps behind you, it will automatically inspire you to serve them. For example, I don't necessarily mean by serving you should do charity work or you should be teaching for free. You can do that if you want, but you can also serve people by selling your products or services that can add value to people's lives. For example, you may be great at baking, so don't wait to win the MasterChef title to serve others. You can probably write a cookbook, or you can conduct baking classes, or you can even start your own bakery. Or if you're a marketing genius and you've run several successful campaigns for the company you work for, then don't wait for that company to recognize your efforts and promote you. You have the ability to promote yourself from an employee to an entrepreneur by starting your own marketing agency. When my book became an international bestseller, a lot of people started coming and asking how I managed to self-publish my book. 3 years ago, I was no publishing expert, but I really wanted to help those people who needed my help. And that is how my publishing company, Happy Self-Publishing, was born. Today, we have served more than 300 authors from 25 different countries. And in the process of serving so many people, we've definitely become good at what we're doing. Therefore, please don't worry about the giants who are ahead of you. Look at how you can serve the people who need you. When it comes to your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, just follow the ABCD approach. Accept that you don't have to be number one. Believe that you're qualified. Challenge the society and deliver your service. I would like to conclude by sharing with you what I recently observed and learned from my children. The other day, my 4-year-old daughter Advika was playing with my 2-year-old son Vedant. Advika had recently learned how to do somersaults, and she was trying to teach the same to her brother. And this boy was looking at her with total admiration and trying to imitate whatever she was doing. And she was holding his little legs with so much care to make sure that he does it the right way. And I was thinking, this girl is not a gymnastics expert. She had in fact learnt it only a week back, but she was behaving as if she was his Olympics coach. And in the process of teaching him, without her knowledge, she was becoming an expert. As children, we all have this innate quality to teach what we know and serve others. But as we become older, as we become adults, this quality fades away because of self-doubt. It is our duty to overcome this self-doubt and stop waiting to become an expert so that we can serve the world with our talent and potential. I would like to leave you with this final thought. You have the ability to share, teach, or sell whatever you want without becoming an expert. And in the process of doing one of these, you invariably become an expert. Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is Jyotsna Ramachandran signing off.